Hey guys, Armand here. Welcome to the Armory. We're going to do a quick disassembly and field strip on this guy right here. This is an AUG A3 or AUG. So those concerned, we are clear before starting to pull apart this very sweet rifle. Now generally speaking, you're going to want to cock the trigger first because the trigger pack in here will disengage by doing that. If it's hammered down, sometimes they get stuck in certain models. So also what we're going to do here is we're going to first depress the butt. Actually, you could do a different step first, but this one's more of a pain in the butt, and it's nicer when there's more of the rifle together. I find just to weigh this thing down, button in, and then pop this through, and then pop it the rest of the way out. That's the main release. This thing comes off, and here's your handy dandy trigger pack. Very nice. Very, very spicy. Then, let's pop your barrel back, which you can get it by locking into that a little bit right there. Cool. Depress your barrel latch release. This will slide, clockwise a couple hours. When you play the trombone, pop this guy off. That's how simple it is to do a barrel change. So cleaning this thing is very simple because that's all you got to do. You can clean up the bore and it's pretty slick. Okay, then we'll go ahead and drop our bolt. Now, this guy right here, this is the main thing. This is how you quickly separate the upper and the lower, the receiver and the chassis of the rifle here. Just pop this big disassembly block through like that. The spring pressure will naturally want to push this forward, which is why you want to have the bolt down so you don't have it under tension. That's all coming out together. You can have these come out independently as well. We'll talk about this in a second. Here's your carrier. And this is it. This is just a chassis now, so this is just doing its thing. Basically a big chunk of polymer with some buttons and springs and stuff in it. Here's your carrier. Here's your piston head. That's where it's a little short stroke piston. Up in this deal right here, that little guy gets energized. There's a gas block in there. It's adjustable gas block. That thing's a little piston. It's going to fire back, tap on this guy, and this is going to cycle the whole thing. This little cup here is what rides inside of the charging handle. As you can see, you slip this guy back. There's a little pocket there for that guy to ride inside. So now reciprocating doesn't capture it, but it just chills out. Now here's your bolt. If you want to pull this apart, it's kind of a little bit like an AR. Disassembling the carrier is actually really cool. You have these little polymer spring-loaded ears. So you pop those out, flip those out. Now the firing pin is still locking this all together. This is still in here, so you pop this in, you rotate it. Come on, there we go. Once you rotate it at 90 degrees, it will pop out, and there you go. Look at that little retained spring in there. Cool, very cool. Okay, next up you have these little aligning jaws in here that align the bolt. This has to do with how it interlocks with the receiver. You have to get some pressure off of those, or you can just try and really force this pin down, but I find it's easier if you get a little bit of pressure off of this thing so it can float. Then you push this cam pin down, and now the bolt just pops right out. This all just comes off now over there. This little buffer retainer guy here also locks in this rear piece, so now with this out, this can come out as well. Just pops out of there, and that's that. Okay, so this guy, as you can see here, this is a retained little pin because it's obviously sleeved so that it's narrower on the one side. It can't come back out. You'd run it in through that side and they punch a little roll pin through. You can spin this, but you don't want to. So it should be naturally aligned like this because this is the path for the firing pin. If you can see that, the firing pin goes through there. The firing pin follows that same path right in behind, parallel with this roll pin that gets run in there. The roll pin keeps this from coming out. It's sleeved in such a way that obviously this cam pin can only go in through the bottom. It can't come back out through the top. So you do want to have this little serial whatever number here aligned parallel with the firing pin hole, because once this is down, to get this back into the carrier, once you put your firing pin back in, it's going to pop that guy back up, and that's going to naturally lock it inside the carrier. Very cool system. This is very much like an AR-15. You got your extractor, you got your ejector. It's an 8-lug bolt. It's very, very representative of a AR-15 bolt. So let's put her back together. I'll start by putting this piece in. It just keys in there. Okay, that just sits there. Now we can get our bolt and align it with this guy. It's pretty easy to align because you just make sure that your little pin guy, your cam pin there, is all the way pushed in. That's going to align right in there. Those teeth will come up in there like so, and you're good. That's not good. Pop that guy back in. This goes back into the hole. Go home. Time to go home. And that's also keyed, so you can only get it in the right way as well. That goes in. That goes in. Get in there. And you just push her in. Now, hold it. Grab your firing pin. That goes up the butt, and that's going to pop this cam pin back up, boop, and there we are. That's self-retained. Push this in, rotate it, that's good. Flip these ears down, those lock in, and you're back in business. Heck yeah. Woo! Fun fact, never done that before. That was the first time I've ever disassembled an AUG bolt. I somehow don't think that's the process for the AUGs. It might be. We'll find that out. We'll pull apart an AUG AUG at some point here as well. There are a couple hiding over there in the safe. So, a couple old Malaysian contracts and an old sporter. Anywho, I do want to show you guys how this all links up inside the receiver here. You can see there are the same teeth right there, right? Those are the same ones that this bolt is going to interface with, right? So that's where those go in. And those little teeth are what help index it. It's really cool. That's locked. You can see the cam locks there. Opens, that groove unlocks it. It's a very neat little system. Very cool. So that locks into the receiver block, but that's independent of the barrel. If you can see down there, there's an extra set of teeth, and that's where the barrel hooks in. So I'll show you guys that too. See these teeth right here? Very cool. Boop. So that's locked in. Now, can you see the barrel in there? See the barrel right there. Let's assemble this guy again. Very cool. That's technically your firearm. You just gotta boop this bad boy and she'll rain hellfire downrange. Very cool. I love that though. That is some ASMR right there. Oh yeah. Again, it's really cool that both the bolt, very cool that both the bolt and the barrel interlock into the receiver itself. That's very cool. Now, with force down on this guy, now what's weird to me is that you can't pull off the handle with the bolt dropped. That's because this guy is a little retaining pin right through there that locks you from, actually you can depress this one, which allows you to twist the handle, but this one is locking that shut. You can't actually complete the action. Which again, to me is a little bit weird because, see, you gotta get that popped out of there. Now you can boop out your barrel. This doesn't actually mate to this. These are inside the receiver like this, so I just don't know why they don't want you to drop the barrel. Pull that out with this down. It's just a little bit weird to me. Don't know why. Also, you can see that's a pretty substantial distance for that piston to pop out and connect to the carrier. That's a good finger width apart. So cool when you actually pull these things apart and seek to understand them. Anyhow, let's chuck it all back together. Pop in the carrier, pop on the receiver. Oh, drop this, let that guy go home. Make sure your disassembly lug is all the way out. Seat that, it is under pressure, so you gotta hold this together and then just pop this guy and find his little happy place there. There we go. That's back in. We can toss our meat and potatoes back in the back end. Okay. This is grooved, so that's gonna hook in down there. That's gonna pop in. You can pop your sling swivel in either way. It's a reversible part like that. There you go. It's fully seated when it's just got a little bit of, you can run it in all the way, and then you're gonna see it's gonna be too far out that way. You just pull it back and it'll lock in a little groove there. Now your barrel, you can see this is all the way down, so we'll probably wanna, actually, this might just, will this self-align? Yeah, this naturally depresses the charging handle enough to get her in there. So you're all good. You're re-locked. Oh yeah. Hope you enjoyed this little video. I really think the AUG is a very cool and unique platform and one of the coolest bullpups that there is. Check out the main channel, Arm and Gun, for a full overview on this, as well as a fun little short where my cat, the Gat Cat, makes a special appearance. Catch you in the next one. We got the AR-10 coming up next. The AUG Artillery Inrichtingen, or however you pronounce the old Dutch ARs. And hit a Patreon if you want to support, or grab some Boom Diggity merch on Bunker Branding. Boom Diggity. Merch.